Another aspect of loving is forgiveness. People have difficulty forgiving. And what we need to understand is that we don't forgive for the sake of the other. And we don't forgive because if we forgive, God will love us more. God's love is permanent and unchanging. He doesn't love more the saint than he loves the murderer or the criminal. He loves all beings the same. But by forgiving, we get free from an intense obstacle towards our own happiness. You can't have bitterness and be happy simultaneously. You can't hold in bitterness and resentment and be happy. One is an obstacle to the other. So it's by forgiving, we remove from our own nervous system this tension. We remove from our own endocrine system this disorder, because this tension is functioning on it's acting on my nervous system, on my endocrine system, on my defense system, and it's causing me various psychosomatic illnesses. It's also preventing me from feeling emotionally happy. It's also preventing me from seeing other people as they are, because that bitterness is distorting my perception of all beings. So we don't forgive for others. They don't lose much by our not forgiving. We lose by not forgiving. We are suppressed by those feelings. They are acting in our body, in our energy body, in our emotional body. So forgiveness is a process of freeing ourselves from illusion. What is the illusion? That someone else is responsible for our reality. And what is the illusion? That there is no divine plan. That this person could have done something to me which was not in the divine plan, which was not something which needed to happen to me in my process of evolution. That doesn't mean, of course, that if someone acts in a harmful, violent way, that he shouldn't be limited in some way or go through process of justice, or that we should allow him to do whatever he wants to us. I'm not saying that. We may even have to go to court with someone, but with love in our hearts. So we don't have negative, we're bringing his action to court. There's a big difference between bringing someone's action. This action should not be allowed to exist in society because it's harmful for society. So we may fight persons' actions, but we don't fight persons, because that person is a part of myself, is a universal being, which is a part of God. So forgiveness is a very important thing. That's a whole subject in itself, which we will not have time today to speak about, but I will just mention that there is a process of forgiveness, and the first part of that process is to discover what negativity is still functioning in me, is being harbored within me towards persons, and the second is to express it, so that before I can forgive, I need to release my negativity. So I may not need to release it on this specific person, but in some way, by writing, by psychodrama, through relaxations, by hitting a pillow, by dancing, in some way I need to release this negativity before I go on to the process of understanding and forgiving. Otherwise, it's like polishing the floor before we sweep it and wash it. Forgiving without releasing that negativity will just close it in. I will have forgiven on a mental level, but emotionally I'm still boiling inside. There's still this fire going on in the subconscious mind. So one has to be careful about the process of forgiveness. It needs to be done in a specific way. First I have to realize, to recognize what's going on in me, to express that in some way, and then go on to understanding and forgiveness. And now, since we're talking about forgiveness, another very important aspect of loving is forgiving ourselves. You can't imagine how many negative feelings people have towards others because others' actions cause them to feel guilty. And I've seen so many mothers and so many fathers have negative feelings towards their children because they have the belief that I am responsible for my child's not being well at this moment or not being successful at this moment. In my eyes, of course, what success means and being well means. And then I feel so much negativity towards that child because he creates feelings of guilt in me because I believe that I am a failure, that as a parent, that I am responsible. And then I can't love this person because of my guilt. So guilt is a very important obstacle towards love. And so just as it is important to forgive others, it's important to forgive ourselves, so that this guilt is not functioning in us, so that we need other people to be in a specific way so that we do not feel guilt when we see them, especially our children, our spouses, our parents, and people for whom we feel responsible for their reality.